Hello, today I'm making keto bread or keto loaf. Now it's not like a normal loaf you buy in the shop made from the base of yeast. I tend to suggest it's more like a rye bread, sort of quite a heavy Central European bread. Now the ingredients are variously ground LSA, psyllium husk on there, some baking soda to try and get it to rise a bit, and some coconut oil, salt, apple cider vinegar, and lots of eggs, lots of eggs, but it doesn't taste of eggs. So now I'm doing double quantity, so I've got two baking trays. Now these are silicone, so it's quite easy to get the bread out of there, but it's worth just putting a bit of grease around. And because they're also quite flexible, you need to put them onto excuse me, a flat surface before you put the ingredients in to the trays. Now, to start with, it's dry ingredients and then wet ingredients. So put in the dry ingredients first, and so we'll get a measure out. So I need a pair of scales. Come on, behave yourself, thank you. And using a transparent bowl, I can actually see the weight underneath. Because I'm doing double quantity, I'll just make sure. So it's 200 grams of SLA flour. LSA, we'll just select it, SLA, which stands for, by the way, linseed, sunflower and raw almonds. Ground and mixed. That's 200 grams. That's 64. So I need to open a new packet. Ground LSA. So I'm trying to get to 200. Let's take out the dry thing. Now 200. 77, 78, 90, 103, 104, 150, 192, 195, 200. Bon. Good. Now I'll keep that in the fridge. So say it's got some perishables in it, so it's not like flour. And what else did I want to do? Psyllium husk is the other biggie. Oh, 20 grams of silicon husk, that's not too bad. So I'll take that to, got some open over here, excuse me. So it's 40 grams, I'm doubling it up. Just check that, 40 grams. So we're now to 240. Hey. Right, put that one behind me over there. Done that one, that's psyllium husk. The other dry ingredient is 2 teaspoons of salt. One, So I'm just doing flat level teaspoons, 2. So I've got the flour, the salt and the psyllium husk, and the one remaining ingredient is baking soda. Now that's 2 teaspoons, so it's doubling up 4 teaspoons. So. And this can get a bit clumpy, so I'll put it through the sieve. So 4 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see there's quite big bits in there. So I'll just pummel them a bit. So I don't have lumps of baking soda. So that's now all the dry ingredients. The LSA flour, the baking soda, the psyllium husk, the teaspoons, the salt. Right, so don't need that anymore. So I'll just give this a good mix and make sure the ingredients are well distributed. Yeah. There we go. So I shouldn't be able to see bits of soda or bits of psyllium husk, but just a general mixture of the ingredients. Cool, right, okay. Put that to one side. Now the next thing is the wet ingredients. So we've got 8 eggs, 4 tablespoons of coconut oil and 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. I'll put the ingredients into the bit down the bottom of the video. Now, what did I say? Oh right, now importantly, with the coconut oil, melt it first so you won't be able to mix it with the egg. So I've got 4 tablespoons, so take a tablespoon, so that's 1. How do I get it? 1. Is that 1? That's a huge one. 2, 3. I'm being a bit quite generous here, aren't I? 4. I mean the flat one looks, it's a very shallow tablespoon. So I'll just pop that in the microwave. Excuse me. I'll just pop that in the microwave for 20 seconds. I just want to melt it. But obviously I don't want to get it too hot, otherwise it will muck up the eggs. And whilst I wait for that, I'll just use the oil on there to grease the 2 pans. I don't think I'm going to be too mad with the greasing. There we go. I mean that normally they just pop out quite easily, but I'll just do that in case. So that's that bit done. Now the coconut oil is quite melted, fairly melted. So I don't want to get it too hot. Right, there we go. Next thing is, what should I put in next? Eggs, perhaps. The eggs, right. 8 of those. 8 eggs. 8 eggs it is. So, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, cool. Can get out of the way. So, right, what have we got? Just the vinegar to go, I think, now, isn't it? Yeah. Apple cider vinegar. Two tablespoons, 2 teaspoons, so a 1, a 2. And then the idea is just to mix this up. So breaking the egg yolks and trying to integrate the coconut oil. So nothing more or less than that. So it's pretty easy. So it's not a difficult recipe to do. Right, that's about a bit. So I've made a bit of a well in the dry ingredients, and I just tip this in here. Now I think it's fairly important to do this bit reasonably quickly, because I think as soon as the baking soda, where it's called, gets wet, it's going to start expanding. So right, let's have a go at this. Right, there we go. And it's just a question of just trying to integrate these two different mixes, the dry and the wet, until it comes up to a nice sort of smooth, it's almost like a paste consistency. So So you'll notice there's no water involved. The liquid is just really provided by the oil and the eggs. And so although you're putting in 8 eggs, sounds like a huge quantity. I'll repeat, it does not taste of eggs. And as I say, it's more like a European rye bread in taste and consistency. You won't mistake it for bread, but you can sort of toast it, put butter on it, and use it as a bread substitute. So there we go. Now that's the psyllium husk expanding as it soaks up the liquid. So you end up with this sort of consistency, and all we have to do then is to put it into the baking trays. Right, I think I'm quite happy with that. Now I didn't use the whisk for doing the mixing because it's quite sticky and there'll be an awful lot of stuff sticking to the whisk. I'll just double check. got it all mixed up together. So the only thing I can smell at the moment is the vinegar. But again, it doesn't touch the vinegar either once it comes out. Right, so I'm good with that, I think. I forgot to mention I preset the oven to 180 degrees and it's put in the oven for I think about 40 to 45 minutes. So you can open the oven door to check it, it's not going to collapse when it's to do like that. And so just to make sure I've been sensible, I'll just put 1, 2, 3. It's quite stiff. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about an even distribution. Now it's in the, I don't know what you call it, what, mixing bowls, tray, right, whatever it's called. You now have to sort of spread it out evenly. As you can see down the bottom of those, so push it into the corners, join up the blobs I have put in. I'm trying to get it to look like a loaf when it comes out. So same with this one, just spread it out evenly. Now it doesn't rise hugely, if it doubles in size you'll be lucky. So don't expect it to rise up to the top of these containers. So I'll just turn it round so I can do the other end. So for some reason this one seems to be shorter than the other one. Yeah, it's not too bad. I say that it does expand, so you don't have to be sort of totally perfect with this step. But it's not like doing flour, as when it rests it becomes assumes a bread shape. So I think I'm reasonably happy with that. I'll just give it a final little bit settle down just to make sure it's not sticking up around the edges. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so there we go. So that's basically it for the preparation, and I'll now put it in the oven, wait for 40 minutes. Well, I'll set the timer for 40 minutes and see how it's going, but then it might need an extra, say, 5 minutes or so. But there we are. Pretty good. Just rest my hands. Right, I'll come back in 40 minutes time and see how we've gotten on. Right, that's been about 40 minutes, so we'll take the bread out of the oven. And what I do now is just do a quick test. So you just take a wooden stick and stick it in the bread. If it's cooked, it will come out clean. And yeah, that's clean. So those are cooked. So I just put them out on a tray. Now those are plastic. They're bloody hot, so use oven gloves. Oops. There's one. There's two. So just leave those to cool. So they haven't really risen very much. That one perhaps more than that, not too sure why. And what I do with those now, I'll switch the oven off. And I usually just slice them. Now they can't keep them out of the fridge because there's lots of eggs in them, so you will need to keep them refrigerated. But I actually in fact freeze it. So I just have a box in the fridge. So I cut it up and then I'll just get that box out of the fridge. So all I do is just cut it and then I just keep the cuts in plastic bags. I can then use them as required. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers.